Let's die of some dysentery. Let's go.
What is dysentery? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Chip, a historian here at the Oregon-California Trails Association. Today, I'm joined by Travis, my boss, and the association manager here at OCTA. And we are filming in a live motorcycle shop here at Hickory Union Moto because I broke both my motorcycles and Travis had to come film here because I couldn't meet them out in Independence. I ordered the wrong chain. But now Travis and I are here after they stopped using power tools. Travis and I are here to play the original Oregon Trail game. If you have a certain age, a millennial, when you hear the term Oregon Trail, this game is going to be the first thing that probably pops into your head. And as a public historian, there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually kind of dope because that means you're already familiar with the story of the Oregon Trail and of Western expansion and immigration in the 19th century.
I don't know about you, but I died of dysentery many a times. I think this is one of the most brilliant pedagogical things done in the 80s and 90s. If we had half that innovation in education today.
There is a website that allows you to play all the different versions of the game, including the Yukon Trail, which is the sequel to it. We are going to play the Oregon Trail Deluxe version, mainly because I don't want to do DOS prompts. I remember how to do them, but I don't want to. Also, we don't have a number pad and it makes it easier and things like that. If you are interested in the history of the Oregon Trail game itself, how Prince became a big fan of it, and the game's lasting impact, there is a great documentary here on YouTube by the gaming historian about the Oregon Trail game that we will link down below and up here as well. Now with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So like I said, we are going to play the deluxe version, which is also in color. All right, play game. Yay! It's a live shop. They're gonna be working on motorcycles in the background. Here's our list of legends.
Oh, I should be sublet. You don't want to be Elijah White, do you?
All right, well, we'll start with the introduction. What was it like to cross 2,000 miles of plains, rivers, and mountains in 1848? What was going on in 1848? We're a year before the gold rush.
People are heading to Oregon. I mean, a few people were already in California. Gold was actually discovered in California in 48. So people who were near to California, people who were already in Oregon, people who were in Mexico, people who were in Utah, made it to California in 48.
In 48, because they'd already, early 1840s is really when, we had the Bidwell Bartleson Party in 1841. That was really the first major group to go out west.
Now we're 7 years into the trail. Every year, it's bigger and bigger. You start with fewer than 100, then about 100. By 1843, there's 1,000 people going west, and thousands of people are pretty much on the trail every year. Of course, in 49,
it really explodes.
It's tens of thousands.
Next paragraph, how will you make life or death decisions? How will you cross rivers? How much and what kind of supplies will you be taking along the trip? The Oregon Trail poses these and other exciting challenges. If for some reason you don't survive, your wagon burns. I don't know how often that was. Thieves steal your oxen, you run out of provisions. That happened more often than not. Well, more frequently. You died of cholera. Don't give up. Unlike the real life pioneers of 1848, you can try again because it's a video game.
On Independence to the Willamette Valley.
There we go, so we're gonna start. Travel the trail. All right, choose your occupation. You're taking the lead on this one, I'm just narrating.
Boy, let's see here. I think I need to be a man with skills. I'm gonna be a blacksmith.
And we've got, looks like, a wife and 3 kids. I don't know, you got 4 other people in your wagon party. So now we have $800 to start with. And we need to load up on supplies before we leave. At Matt's General Store, which I guess is going to be in Independence or, could be Jim's Bridger General Store. If it was a little later, that was the 1850s. And you can watch our other video on that.
And in Westport.
And in Westport, which became the Trailhead a little later.
A unique thing about the Kansas City area, there are 2 major routes of the combined Santa Fe, Oregon, and California Trail that come out of this area. Independence route was an older route established in 1827. This route was a little later, 1834-ish, thereabouts, maybe a little earlier. The Westport route, and I'm walking west along what was the Westport route.
How many oxen would they be taking? Let's say a middle-class family that is feeling the need to move from Illinois to
Ideally, you're going to want at least 2 oxen to pull your wagon. Better yet, to have 4, just in case, one comes up lame, one gets stolen, and things happen. And there's not a lot of opportunities, especially in the earlier years, to replenish because there aren't a whole lot of forts or towns along the way. So what I do know is that some ammo on hand is going to be helpful. Things break a lot. Probably ought to take extras of.
I would clean them out on the,
Yeah, take it all. You know, we can make do with our clothes. Probably going to take at least a half a dozen oxen with me. And that leaves the rest.
Get to do some maths here. A little over.
A little over. I probably ought to keep a little cash on hand.
I was gonna say, do you want to zero out or do you want to keep a little something with you?
Maybe a little more than that. All right, let's set out. I'm going to start off in April. No. You don't want to start too soon. First of all, if you start off in March, grass hasn't really started growing yet in this area. Then as now, it's more of an April thing. It can still be quite cold in March. There's a good chance you're going to hit a snowstorm, something pretty bad. April's, it can be dicey still. So here we go.
Yankee Doodle. April 1st, 1848.
Ooh, I don't know if I want to start that early.
Oh, I think that's...
well, we're married to it now. Let's go.
That's supposed to be Independence Square in 1848.
There you are. The original courthouse. Well, actually, that's the second courthouse. The original is a log cabin. It still stands on the Independence Square. It was built in 1827.
Along the way, we're going to hit our first river here, but we can change our speed, rations, things like that as well.
Here we are a week in. It looks like we're coming to the Kansas River already. That's our first major obstacle.
Would you hit that about a week in reality?
Yeah. I mean, if you're averaging 20 miles a day, Topeka's not that far. Topeka's about where you would cross. It wasn't a city yet then, but you do have a couple options when you get to Topeka. Then the game, you can either ferry across or you can caulk your wagon and float it across.
We have those options. We can ford the river, caulk the wagon and float it, or spend $5.
And this is why I saved a little money, because I knew there'd be some ferries to take along the way. So let's take the ferry. Here we go. Now, these ferries would have been run by some of the French Indians who lived along the way. This was, until 1854, Indian territory. And see, we made it safely. Okay.
Oh, John has dysentery already.
Not uncommon.
What is dysentery?
A waterborne disease that attacks your intestines and causes a lot of vile things to your insides to happen. Bad things happen to you in short order. A lot of times within a day or two, you could be 6 feet under. We won't go into the graphic details of what it does to you. Feel free to Google that.
Another river crossing. We're at the Big Blue River now.
So the Big Blue River is kind of a famous place. 1846, the Donner Party gets stuck here for 3 days. One of the reasons they got behind. The river was flooded. They couldn't get across. So if you go to Alcove Spring today where they camped, you can see James Reed's signature carved in the rocks there. So what should we do here? What are our options today?
It's 4 feet deep, 240 feet wide.
So it's not terribly deep today, but let's just attempt to ford it. Here we go.
Oh
no.
And we lost the wagon.
We sunk. 3 members drowned.
Oh,
wow, this is a really disastrous trip so far.
We lost 75% of the party and all of our oxen.
Oh. Wow.
And the 12th. So we've been gone for 11 days. So not even 2 weeks out, we lost.
Wow. So someone bury and mourn the dead.
The whole party, everybody but you.
Well, at least I survived. That's all that matters, right? It's just, can I get to Oregon? I'm not worried about them. Let's go.
Because it was about an 80% survival rate. So about 1 in 5 would not make the journey.
So now I got to get an ox.
Oh yeah, now you're just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, you still have a steady pace apparently.
Well, hopefully there's somebody to trade nearby. Oh, this is going to get dicey. We're going to have to trade all of our wagon tongues.
We don't have any ox. I don't know what other choice we have.
Yep, we're going to have to give
We
up
can get some more maybe tongues at,
Fort Bridger or
Fort Bridger or Laramie or somewhere.
Well, wait, it's 1848, Fort Bridger.
What's going on in 1840? Well, we'll talk about that when we get there. It is one of the stops.
Cruising along.
Do we go a little bit quicker pace if we like?
I'm just going to cruise because we're already down to 1,000 pounds of food and we're not quite to Nebraska yet. Here we come. Looks like Fort Kearney is in our windshield here.
We got delayed. We took the wrong trail.
Oh, how did you do that?
Well, somebody told him to take the wrong cutoff in Nebraska where you can see where you want to go.
Okay.
Yay, they're grinding a seat post again. But we've reached Fort Kearney.
So Fort Kearney is pretty much right in the middle of modern day Nebraska. If you're driving Interstate 80 anytime, going across Nebraska, you will pass the town of Kearney and just south of there. Then as now the fort exists, it's a state historic site today, so you can still visit it. But for the pioneers, for the immigrants heading west, it was a major, major milestone. You're now about 25% down the trail. It's a chance to get replenished. It's a chance to send and receive mail, to talk with others about what the conditions might be up and down the trail. Are there Indian attacks to watch out for? Are there bandits on the trail that might rob you? All sorts of good things you could learn at a place like Fort Laramie.
Who are the bandits at this point if America is just starting to push out?
So,
to the
you know,
west?
then as now, everybody's looking for a grift. It was especially acute during the Civil War. Most of the forts were abandoned. A lot of people who didn't want to fight in the Civil War went and hid out in Nebraska and robbed wagon train. In the 1860s, that would have become yet another peril. Let's continue.
What, do we want to trade or anything? We could buy some yokes back.
We probably ought to do that, huh? Yeah. There we go. Let's see what that's going to cost us. Now you can see things have really gone up quite a lot since we left Independence. Independence, there was competition. There were multiple vendors. Fort Kearney, it's a monopoly. You got to pay what they've got. So
Supply and demand, kids.
We are out of wagon tongues, so I probably ought to at least pick up a couple. Let's go. So now we're a month in. Here we go.
So would it take you about a month to reach Fort Kearney? Is that kind of on?
Ideally, you want to be to the middle of Wyoming by about the 4th of July, and it looks like we're well on pace if no more disasters happen there.
We found some wild fruit. I don't know if we should trust that.
Oh, I think I'm going to skip that. Ooh, they're going to make me eat it? That's not nice.
Well, we don't have to worry about rations, though. There's only one of you now.
Yeah, I'm never going to run out of food.
Oh, Emily was bitten by a snake. I guess we still had one person on the train. I was wrong. Emily was still with us. There's two of us, but she was bitten by a snake.
Then as now, Nebraska is populated with rattlesnakes, especially as you get further into western Nebraska. A place like Scotts Bluff, Chimney Rock, you'll see today, watch for rattlesnakes all over. Once the panhandle of Nebraska. Good advice, carry a hiking stick, flush the grass in front of you as you walk.
Oh, Emily got bit by another snake a week later.
Emily's having really bad luck.
Emily needs to quit messing with the snakes. And Emily died of a snake bite.
Well, got to bury another one. So a lot of people call that Platte River Valley one long graveyard. There are some diary accounts that talk about every few feet there's a new fresh grave. Some people actually documented all of the graves that they saw along the way. It's how we know so much about it, because very few graves remain today. Literally only a handful, several dozen out of literally thousands. Let's continue without Emily.
So yep, now we're just down to you.
We're going to solo this thing. Looks like we're approaching Chimney Rock. It's a really, really impressive landmark in the western part of Nebraska. It's also on their state quarter. So Chimney Rock was another major milestone. You're about a third of the way down the trail at this point. A lot of people would stop and carve their name in the rock. You can't really see any of those in it today because it's sandstone. It's very soft and it's eroded over time. In fact, the chimney on that was probably twice as high in 1848 as it is today. Lightning keeps decimating it. Eventually, it's just going to be a chimney nub.
Continue on, no trading. Now Travis got bitten by a snake.
Man, I just was warning everybody about not getting bit by snakes, and now I died.
And you just
nobody to bury me, so
nope.
There I am somewhere east of Scotts Bluff, just left to rot on the plains. I'm coyote food, getting carted off. Circle of life.
Okay, we made it to Chimney Rock. Didn't even go hunting or.
Well, should you have an attempt? See if you can get further than me?
I guess so. Let's
all right.
see. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe. And join us next week as Travis and I swap places. And I make it a little bit further than Chimney Rock. And in case you're wondering, yes, he did grind off a little bit too much of his frame.